Vegeta, could I please have some ice cream?
Sure, but only a spoonful.
Really? Well, in that case...
What? A comically large spoon?
Hey, what's up, everybody? And today we're taking a look at my Demonical Fit Chosen Ones. Basically, it's a third-party SH figuarts Goku Black, and basically it's a third-party figure that reuses the body from the original release of Goku Black, but basically adds in some accessories. So this is the look of the box, pretty cool. And here's the figure. And let's just take a look at him right here. I have him on a stand thing because he does not like to stand up and he keeps falling over on me. But nonetheless, here's Goku Black. He looks really, really, really cool. Now, I just got into Dragon Ball late last year, and now I'm about to finish Super. So I had to get Goku Black after finishing the Goku Black arc. But to my surprise, the original one goes for way too much money. And here are some of those prices right here, which are ridiculous. But nonetheless, this figure looks really good. It looks exactly like the original one did. And man, even the paintwork on it's pretty cool. There is a little bit of a scratch on my eyebrow there on the head sculpt, but that's nothing that really detracts away from it. I still think it's a pretty cool looking figure. The shading is nice on it. Everything about this figure is just perfect. And, for being like a third party figure, SH Figuarts is not an easy thing to copy, but they've done it perfectly right here. And to be honest, I think Demonical Fit may have done a little bit better than the actual company itself, because, this thing looks really good. Now, there are some downsides, like you can see here that his boots are a little bit off-colored. The top part's a little bit of an off-white. You can tell mainly from the back here. See the off-whiteness there. But it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna knock it down any for that. But yeah, the shading on the gray parts is nice. I do love the colors that they have for it right here. And it's a perfect clone. I wouldn't exactly call it a knockoff. It's more so a clone. But yeah, it is a perfect clone of the original one, and it's cheaper. Well, technically it would be if it had just come out. This figure is a great alternative to that original one, and I'll get into why. So as to why this figure is just better than the or at least a great alternative to the original one, is just within the figure itself. It's basically 1-to-1 with the original. And if you had gotten this Demonical Fit one when it came out, it was only $60, but I did get mine on eBay for like $150, so I was able to get at least a decent deal on it, even though it is kind of a rarer figure. But I just had to get a Goku Black, and I was not gonna spend $200 on the original one that came with like little to no accessories, or at least didn't have a lot of the accessories that you would want for Goku Black. But this one is perfect for that. And what I mean by that is the original one didn't really come with a lot of accessories. Like, it didn't have the scythe, didn't have a lot of gesture hands that Goku Black would use. So it was like, what's the point in paying all that much money for nothing? And that's where we get into the accessory segment of the video. And as for the first couple accessories here, he does come with the energy blade or the ki blade, which does come with the original figure, but it's not as nice as this looks. That sheen over, that like metallic sheen over it, just gives it that glowing effect under certain lights. this thing is just painted beautifully and just looks so beautiful. And for the other handheld accessory, he comes with the scythe, which the first one didn't. For some weird reason, I don't know why they never gave him a scythe. I mean, I know it wasn't integral to the story and he didn't really use it much, but it's just a cool thing to have. Like, why wouldn't you want the scythe? And again, it's painted up beautifully with that same metallic sheen on the blade, and this thing is just large. Like, it's bigger than the figure itself. And for his last handheld accessory, he comes with the Kamehameha Blast, which is something that Bandai doesn't do anymore, which is just really, really weird. Why they just don't pack in energy effects. Now, it does come with these little attachments you have to basically plug in, and they all have different shapes. So we'll just do one on camera here, and then I'll do the rest off camera, because it is a little bit tedious trying to find the certain ports for it. But you just take it right there, match the shape, and pop it in. Kind of like if you were playing with like one of those little baby toy things where you match the shapes, and they just come out right there like so too. I think I may have put that one in wrong. Let me just see here. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to match some of these shapes because some of them have the same shape, but they're just slightly bigger or slightly smaller. But yeah, that's basically how you pretty much get it in. You just match the shapes. Obviously, as a kid, I guess I wasn't as good as I thought I was at those shape matching stuff, but here is the completed Kamehameha Blast, and it is purple because in Dragon Ball Super, he does have a purple Kamehameha Blast, and this thing is just painted beautifully, too, as well, with the shade work. I love the gradient between the black towards the actual ball section, and the lighter, more purple towards the tips of the energy kind of beams. This thing just looks just sick, and it is just so cool. So let's get on the hands. So he does have 2 fists in the box. He does have the 2 fighting hands. He does have an instant transmission hand. He does have a pointing finger hand, which is part of the new hand accessories that he gets. He does have this kind of gesture hand, which he does have as far as the new stuff. He does have a Kamehameha Blast hand accessory set. And to demonstrate how those work here is just take the blast and just put it in between those fingers right there. And just make sure he securely holds it like so. And that looks pretty good. It's pretty nice how it just kind of cups around his hands like that. And he does come with this kind of palm hand, which is used for the key sword. So basically, to install that, you basically just see that opening there, and you just kind of slide the hand on in. Now, this hand and the other 2 hands I'm going to look at are hands with the purpose, because this one is for the key sword, and as you can see, it looks pretty fire. Man, this thing is just so cool. But now he has these hands, which are kind of open grabbing hands, which are new hands for this figure only. But to use those, basically what you're going to do is you're going to take in this scythe right here. And as you're going to see, there is a little slit at the portion right there on the scythe. You basically just split that apart. And what we're going to do is you're going to feed this part here, the part of the scythe with the peg on it. You're going to feed it through the hand. Get in there as best as you can. Just kind of wriggle its way in there. It's going to be a little bit stiff just because the hands are very tight. And that is one thing about this figure. The hands are super tight, and I'm almost afraid every time I pop a hand off to change it out. But yeah, so you got it through that one hand there. Now you can have them one-handed or you can have them two-hand, which I definitely prefer the one hand, but the two-hand is also fine too. So you're just going to want to make sure you get it through this other hand there as well. Just kind of pop it on through, and there you go. Now that you have him holding the scythe portion right there, we can bring in the other part of the scythe and reattach it like so. Just pegs on super smoothly, and it is not going anywhere. Now the scythe is just a little bit heavy, but he can hold it up pretty fine, so there's no big deal with that. And as you can see, it fits pretty nicely. And this figure's accessories do not stop there. So as far as the faces and heads, this is the head sculpt and the face that you get in the box. Obviously mine has a scratch on it, but that is no big deal. So you get that face, and you get this face for the normal powered down Goku Black. So you only get 2 powered down Goku Black faces, which is fine. I mean, you get 2 faces that I think fit this figure pretty well for the powered down Goku Black. So it does look really good when you tilt the head down. Tilting it up is alright, but from the side's okay. But it's really that tilt down that really makes this face work really, really good. So he does have that. And for the other face, he has basically a new head sculpt, which is the rosé. So I'm going to show you how to do that here. So I'm going to just take the face and the hair plate off like so. They just peg in with those bottom 2 holes right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to rip this head off of the peg like so. Just snaps off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the rosé head right here. We're going to take this first little hair section out just to make it easier to put the hair on, and make sure that peg is aligned properly in that configuration, and it's just going to peg in right there, and you're just going to pop that on. Now the rosé hair on mine, there are some tolerance issues with this figure. It's kind of hard to get this rosé head on. Sometimes I don't know if I have it in all the way. There's a little hair on mine. I don't know if I have it in all the way. But we're going to take the neutral expression face right here. Using those 2 pegs, we're going to peg into the bottom set of holes. And that will just peg in like so. Like that. And then we'll take the hair piece back here and do the same kind of thing here. We're just going to peg it in on the top, and it should peg in quite nicely like so, and it came off. So I need to see what the problem is here. Maybe I didn't put it on all the way. Alright, let me figure this out. Alright, so I got the head back on. Apparently, I did not have it in all the way, so I have it in all the way right now. It is looking a little closer to the shoulders, but let's take a look at that hair. Man, this thing is just beautiful. I definitely prefer the matte finish on this rather than the new one they released, because as you see right here, the new one they released, I like the metallic look for it. It's just the problem is the head. That figure has a weird color scheme going on and no powered down head. And as for the other face that this figure comes with, it is a smirking rosé face sculpt, which is pretty much the powered down head smirking face. Again, you can make it look really good with that tilt down, but it is pretty much the same as the powered down head smirking face, just with some different color variations so it can fit the rosé head sculpt, but it does look pretty good. And for the last face sculpt for the rosé is this screaming face or yelling face, which looks pretty good. I mean, I probably won't use this one a lot, maybe for photos and for maybe some posing, but that is about it. So now let's get on to articulation. So for the head, it can move down about that far, it can move up not so much, but a decent amount. It does have side to side. It is on a double kind of ball joint. You can swivel all the way around. And for the arms, they can go forward about that much on the butterfly joint, but back not at all. The arms right here can move up about that far. Again, as we've seen with the Son Goku, this shirt piece is on a ball joint just attached to the shoulder there. And as far as if we can try and get it out of the way for more range, you can only maybe get, actually, no, I think that's as much as it can go. But we do have a bicep swivel right here. And he does have double jointed elbows, which are very tight, which I do like. And for the wrist, they do the classic SH Figuarts hinge, and they can swivel around like so. And there's that hinge again. And as far as, if we get that situated, as far as the torso goes, does have a diaphragm right there and another diaphragm right there at the stomach, which means he can crunch forward about that far, and he can crunch back about that far. So he's got some pretty good range there. And this skirt piece is made of soft rubber, so he does have a waist swivel right there too as well. So the soft rubber can make his legs go pretty far in range. So getting that skirt piece over the top there, kick forward about that far, he can kick back about that far, he can do the splits, and he does have a thigh swivel right there. He does have double jointed knees like so. And for the foot is on a ball joint, can go down about that far, can't go up at all. Does have a slight ankle pivot both sides, and he does have a bend at the toe, which can only go about that far. But he is a pretty posable figure, as you would expect from basically an SH Figuarts body. He does pose pretty well. I think he is the perfect Goku Black figure, but with posing out of the way, let's get into an actual pose test for this guy. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little post-test session, but let's do some size comparisons now. I have both the stands here because he likes to fall over, so I decided to bring in both stands so to elevate both the compared figure and the figure we're comparing. So here is my only other Dragon Ball figure, the Figuarts Goku, which, interesting enough, you can actually put Goku's faces on this Goku Black body, which makes it look a little uncanny, but kind of cool. And with Goku here, since this specific Goku figure comes with this palm hand, you can actually put the energy blade on this Goku figure, which is kind of funny, a little funny thing that you can do. And I think it looks pretty silly with Goku with the energy blade, which looks pretty silly. So some other comparisons. Let's take a look at Goku Black next to my Figuarts Sage Mode Naruto, the OG one. So just gonna have a little bit of a Figuarts comparisons here, and here he is next to my other favorite anime character, which is the Figuarts OG Itachi figure. New one's coming out in August, and I have that pre-ordered. Might be doing a giveaway for it if I reach a certain amount of subs. But there he is, and Itachi is one of my favorite characters. So, of course, once I saw Goku Black, I was like, I gotta have a Goku Black figure. So that's how he looks next to Itachi. And here he is next to an SH Figuarts Tobey Maguire, which I plan to do a video on Toby soon, but I just have a lot of things I have to do first. So here he is next to a classic true to form 6-inch figure, Marvel Legends animated Spider-Man, and that should be it for the comparison. So my final thoughts on the figure here, so we can wrap up this review and talk about the good and the bad and the price. So let's talk about the good. Loads of accessories. Comes with the scythe, the blade, the energy, the Kamehameha blast. New hands that the original one didn't come with. Very nice array of faces. Paintwork is good. Articulation is great. Everything is pretty good for this figure. I mean, there's not a lot of bad to cover. And the price is pretty good. I'd say $60 when it came out, and it's going for like around 100 some right now. I think is a very good price. Now the bad, the only thing I could really say is some of the tolerances with some of the stuff, like plugging in those little things for the Kamehameha blast was a bit of a chore, and it was a bit difficult at times because of the tolerances. The hands are very hard to switch out, and they're pretty stiff for the most part, so you have to plug them in a certain way if you want the hinge to work in a certain way, which kind of sucks. The range on the feet kind of below a little bit. It's hard for him to stand on his own because of that, but that's more so just the mold itself. I'm pretty sure the original one had the same issues. As far as anything else I can really think of, oh yeah, the rose head. That thing is hard to get to plug in sometimes. It's a bit stiff, but once you get it in, it's pretty good. Might just be my copy, but then again, it is a third-party clone of the original one, so that could be also a factor. But other than that, it is really, really, really good. This figure is amazing. The amount of poses you can get him in just with that scythe alone. The amount of expression this figure has. The paintwork is great. I know I've probably said that already, but I can't stop talking good about this figure. And to Demonical Fit, you guys are perfect. What you've made is just perfect. And if you're not a Dragon Ball fan, get this figure. If you are a Dragon Ball fan, get this figure. It doesn't matter who you are, get this figure. But anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you later.